Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
I had my brother here, inshallah. He left here 40 years ago. Now he come back to visit us here, inshallah, from Kuwait here, inshallah. The brother Sakir here, inshallah. 40 years ago, he left here. I thought maybe I don't know him for 40 years, and now it's still the same, alhamdulillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيد الرسل وخاتم الانبياء وعلى اله الازكياء واصحابه الاثرياء اما بعد. So today we gather here to discuss a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When this subject was proposed to me that we will have a discussion on love for the dunya and a disliking for the death, it reminded me of the narration that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day addressing his companions, he said to them, this type of narration falls into the category of prophecy, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam foretold certain things before they occur. Many incidents like this occur. The Prophet ﷺ would be sitting in Medina Munawwara and he would tell the companions that such and such thing would occur. And the amazing thing is that every single thing the Prophet ﷺ told the companions would occur before the Day of Judgment, either it has already occurred or it will occur. And some of the most extraordinary things that if you were told this, like, I was once speaking at an interfaith event and it was in front of a Jewish Christian crowd. And I said to them, this was in Dallas, and I said to them that as Muslims, there is one hadith of the Prophet ﷺ we've always taught our children. This is a narration that is published in many basic fundamental books of Islam. And the first part of the hadith makes a lot of sense. It's very logical, very sensible. But the last part of the hadith actually logically didn't make much sense. Every time the teacher taught this part of the hadith to the students, they would say, Allah knows what this hadith means. They would say, it'll happen someday. We don't know exactly what it means, but it'll happen one day. And then I said to that crowd that until my generation of Muslims, I don't think anyone ever saw the manifestation of this hadith until we came. And now when we look at this hadith, we saw the manifestation before our eyes, where Rasulullah said in Hadith Jibreel, a hadith that's taught to every child, everyone knows the fundamentals of Hadith Jibreel. Jibreel alayhi salam came and asked the Prophet some questions, Islam, Iman, Ihsan. He asked him about the Day of Judgment and the signs of the Day of Judgment. And when the Prophet said, Bedouin Arabs will compete in building the tallest structure, whenever they taught this part of the hadith, what would they say? Allahu a'lam bi murad dhalik. Allah knows what this means. Rasulullah said it, Amanna wa saddaqna, we believe in it. Because until that point, there was no example for almost 1,350 years of Arabs competing in building tall structures. This didn't exist. I mean, they built beautiful structures, but there was no actual competition in building the tall structures. In comes the UAE. In comes Jeddah building their structure. And you look at this hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he says, Sadaq Allah wa Sadaq Rasuluh. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke the truth and so did his prophet. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, like this, he gave many examples. From his prophecies, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and imagine the statement being said in front of companions. Sometimes I think about just the attendees and their facial response at that moment when the Prophet ﷺ must have been saying the following words. Like if I was just looking at that gathering and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu and Umar radiallahu anhu and the great companions were sitting there, and while the Prophet ﷺ was saying these words, I could just imagine them crying profusely because what he was saying was so sad, but at the same time, he never said something that didn't happen. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to the companions, يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٌ لَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ إِلَّا اسْمُهُ وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا رَسْمُهُ مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى عُلَمَاؤُهُمْ شَرٌّ مِنْ تَحْتَ أَدِيمِ السَّمَاءِ مِنْ عِنْدِهِمْ تَخْرُجُ الْفِتْنَةُ وَفِيهِمْ تَعُودُ. Like these words, imagine what kind of hurt it must have caused to the companions' hearts who were so in love with Islam and so in love with the Prophet ﷺ and the Prophet is telling them, يَأْتِي عَلَى النَّاسِ زَمَانٌ, a time will come. لَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْإِسْلَامِ إِلَّا اسْمُهُ. The only thing that will remain of this faith will be its name. That's it. The rest of the faith will be gone. The books will remain, but the actions will be gone. The people won't be there anymore. وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا الرَّسْمُ. And the only thing that will remain from the Quran will be its text, its writing. All the meaning will be lost. People won't be practicing it anymore. مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ. Beautiful $5 million masajid. It feels like he was talking about America, by the way. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because every city you go to in America, we have a $5 million masjid. مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى, without anyone to guide them. They built these fancy shamancy structures, but they forgot to bring people to work in those institutions, to actually do the job of that masjid. It's like we have a lantern without any light in it, without any oil in there, without any fire in it. It's just a lantern, that's it. Which tells people that once upon a time there was maybe some light here, but as of today there's no longer any light. مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke about the scholars. عُلَمَاؤُهُمْ شَرٌّ مِنْ تَحْتَ أَدِيمِ السَّمَاءِ. Their scholars will be the scum of the earth. That they will cause fitna in the people, and that fitna will come back to them. So there are many narrations like this that you can see. There was a great scholar by the name of Sheikh Ashif Ilahi. I believe his last name was Al-Barni. He wrote a book on hadith, and his writing of the hadith book is very interesting, because you know how usually when you write hadith books you make it based off of the subject matter of the hadith. So you'll have some hadith books that just focus on the issue of marriage, some hadith books that will just focus on the issue of iman, belief in Allah. His hadith book is compiled based off of grammar. So if anyone ever wants to learn good Arabic grammar and also hadith, this is the perfect book to read. So he'll start off with Jumla Ismiya. So the sentence structure that is based off of a noun. The first hadith, he has الدين النصيحة, الدعاء مخ العبادة, المرء مع من أحب, الأناة من الله والعجلة من الشيطان. These are all independent narrations, but all of them are mubtada khabar, for those of you who understand Arabic grammar. Then from there he'll go into different types of Jumla Ismiya. He'll bring the examples of inna, and all the narrations of inna he brings them. Inna min al-bayan al-sihra, inna min al-shi'ri hikmatan, inna min al-ilmi jahlan, inna min al-qawli ayalan. Like this will bring all the narrations with inna. And the idea is that the student can study grammar through the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he goes into Jumla Fi'aliyah, Kana, and it's Ism al-Khabar, and so on. So after he does all of this, towards the end of the book, at the end of the book, he then compiled 40 narrations. After he went through all the grammar stuff, at the end of it, he compiled 40 narrations. And in these 40 narrations, he only brought those narrations that have prophecies in them. 40 narrations on prophecies. I remember reading this hadith book. When we were students, we were mandated to memorize it. It was a part of our curriculum, actually. We had to memorize the whole book. And it was close to 350, 400 narrations. And the first part of it was fun. It was good, but it was a lot of grammar-related discussion. But the last 40 hadith, they were longer, and they had to all do with prophecies. And I remember reading those narrations and just being blown away. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told the companions that a time will come that interest will spread. It'll spread, right? And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that most people will engage in it, and those who don't engage in it directly, يَجِدْهُ مِنْ بُخَارِهِ. The smoke or the steam of that interest will come in, impact that person as well. So anyway, in those narrations, the Prophet ﷺ, he also quoted this narration of Rasulullah ﷺ. That Nabi ﷺ said, يُشِكُ الْأُمَمَ أَن تُدَاعَ عَلَيْكُمْ كَمَا تُدَاعَ الْآكِلَةُ إِلَى قَصْعَتِهَا. That a time will surely come. يُشِكُ الْأُمَمَ. يُشِكُ means أَوْشِكَ يُشِكُ, something will surely happen. يُشِكُ الْأُمَمَ أَن تُدَاعَ عَلَيْكُمْ كَمَا تُدَاعَ الْآكِلَةُ إِلَى قَصْعَتِهَا. That a time will come that people will call one another against you. And تُدَاعَ عَلَيْكُمْ. They will call one another against you. The nations will gather against you. The people will gather against you. كَمَا تُدَاعَ الْآكِلَةُ إِلَى قَصْعَتِهَا. Just as if there's food in the middle and 10 guys gather around, they kind of look at it carefully and say strategically, I'll take this part, you take that part, I'll take this part, you take that part. Just as they strategize against that mansaf, they will be strategizing against you. So the companions, they said, Ya Rasulullah, min qillatin nahnu yawma idin. Will they be strategizing against us and planning our demise because we won't have numbers to defend ourselves, because we won't have numbers to stand up, we won't have honor. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا بل أنتم يومئذ كثير بل أنتم يومئذ كثير. It won't be because you're small in numbers. You'll have a lot of Muslim countries. You'll have monarchies, you'll be sitting on oil, you'll have, some of the top armies of the world, you'll have some of the top navies of the world. You will be very wealthy people, and you'll be many a number, 1.8 billion. There'll be a lot of you, don't worry about that. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ غُثَاءٌ كَغُثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. But you'll be like the scum of the sea, froth, which seems to have a lot of number, but when you weigh it, it seems large in quantity, but when you weigh it, what happens, guys? There's no weight to it. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَلَيَنْزِعَنَّ اللَّهُ مِن صُدُورِ عَدُوِّكُمُ الْمَهَابَةَ مِنْكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take away your fear from the hearts of your enemies. They won't fear you anymore. They'll look at you and they'll laugh in your face. وَلَيَقْضِفَنَّ فِي قُلُوبِكُمُ الْوَهْنِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place in your hearts al-wahn. Al-wahn. Right? So it's as if these two are interconnected. That they will lose respect for you because you will have wahn. And those who have wahn, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who don't have wahn, those who don't have wahn, this word wahn I'll explain in a moment. Those who don't have wahn, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always give them honor in the dunya. Those who fall into this trap, you know how there's a mouse trap? There are cockroach traps. The trap of this dunya is called, what's the word, guys? Al-wahn. Waw, ha, noon. Whoever falls in that becomes dhaleel in the dunya. They lose all honor. And whoever doesn't fall in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them honor. And I speak from a Muslim's perspective. For Muslims, this is where our honor is, not falling. Now you might find other non-Muslims who have honor and they have wahn as well, but the difference is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving their honor based off of their asbab and wasa'il, based off of their materialistic possessions. While for the believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always gave them honor, even though they were few in number. The Muslims in Medina Munawwara were not the largest community in Arabia, but they had honor. The Muslims in the Battle of Badr were not the larger group, they were the smaller group, but they had honor. Because their hearts were absolutely pure of this wahn. The companions asked, وَمَا الْوَهْنُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ? O Messenger of Allah, what is? What is wahn? What's this word you say? The Prophet ﷺ then said, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا وَالْكَرَاهِيَةُ الْمَوْتِ. The loving of the world and hatred for death. This is what wahn is. When that enters into the hearts of my ummah, that all they think about is their money, all they think about is the bottom line, all they think about is their house, their car, all they think about is worldly things. And they don't plan for their death. They don't plan for the akhirah. They don't think about meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will see them lose their honor. Allah will take it away. Allah will strip it away from them. And this is unfortunately the state of the ummah. It's a very painful state. It's a hurtful state. It hurts so much, and I don't want to get into politics because as soon as I do that, someone here is going to choke me on the way out, right? But we all know of our countries, we all know where we come from, we all know of where the Muslim countries are, and what they've done for other Muslim countries, and how some Muslim countries have clearly conspired against other Muslims to hurt them. Those who are doing dhulm against Muslims, those who have put Muslims under blockade, and I give the example of Kashmir. I just think of that example. As I was given this topic for the past few days, I was just thinking of this example, that's a region that was identified as being the last Muslim majority state in that country. It was represented by Muslims in Islam. I mean, the Muslims in Kashmir, they have a very similar case to the Muslims in Palestine, of Gaza and the West Bank. Very similar case. Both of them were promised statehood at the creation of the UN. And I don't want to go into politics because I'm not a politician. But I am an observer and I am a reader. I'm someone who appreciates the realities that surround me because I don't want to be a fool and I don't want to be hit by those mistakes in my life. These are people who are identified as Muslims, who lived by Islam. Some of the greatest scholars in Islamic history came from this region, and I can start naming them, but I won't because that isn't the subject of today's topic, right? But I've studied their works, alhamdulillah, and I've had the chance to study with scholars from that region and classmates, and pure, amazing Muslims. Now, one thing is that you can't help someone that's being oppressed. That's one thing, your inability to do so. Let's say, for example, there's someone in Kashmir right now who's struggling and I don't have the physical ability to do something. I can make dua to Allah. I can maybe advocate on behalf of them, or sort of support financially an advocacy team that is lobbying on their behalf, and on and on and on. But look at the state of the Muslim Ummah today. Look at our state. That not only are we not silent when someone is being oppressed, we are giving the oppressor an award. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Imagine that Muslim sitting in Kashmir thinking, Ya Allah, have these Muslims lost their ghira, their honor? What happened to them? They were supposed to be helping us. Where they couldn't help us, they should have stayed silent. But if they couldn't do both, what did they choose to do? You know, they honored the aggressor, and it's not like they honored the aggressor 5 years before or 10 years after. I don't remember the exact number of the days because I was in Hajj and it was all very fuzzy. But I remember it being like around the same time. Like within 10 days of this aggression occurring, I remember there being some article of a Muslim country honoring the aggressor, and that Muslim country has the audacity to hold the Muslim Peace Forum. Like, you claim to represent the state of Muslims in Islam and peace, but this is what you're doing on the other hand. So there's a lot of pain in the heart of the Muslims. There's a lot of pain in all of our hearts because of the way Muslims, unfortunately, have lost their honor today. But the reality of the matter is that I can sit here and you can sit here and we can talk about governments and rulers, and it's a very fun subject from one perspective because you know that everyone's going to be on your side because we all mutually agree that governors are oppressive and that rulers are oppressive. But I'd like to bring this principle of wahan down to myself. This is what I want to reflect on. Do I have wahan in my heart or not? Or do I live by the principles of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a great example. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a phenomenal example. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived that balanced life. Do we find the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam owning a home or living on the street? Tell me, guys. He owned his home. Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah, I just give an example, beg people for money to buy himself a car or an animal, or did he possess his own animal? He possessed his own. Did he walk around unclothed, wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah, or was he dressed? Was he dressed honorably? Of course he was. I mean, these are all things that we find in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The things that were required of a human being to live, to fulfill the rights of those around him, he did that. Now, it's clear that he wasn't excessive. Anyone that dares to paint a picture that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was extravagant, he was lavish, he was excessive, that's false. That's not true. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived an honorable life. But nowhere do you find in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was obsessed with just hubb ad-dunya, the love for the pleasures and luxuries of this world. This is a touchy subject because for many of us, this is the principle that we live off of. This is the one reality we know of. This is the one thing that we teach our children from a young age, that be successful in the world, be successful in the world. Very rarely do you find parents who drill the reality and idea in their child's mind that be successful in the akhirah. What matters isn't how much you own in the world. As Luqman the wise said to his son, that if you take everything from the world but the love of Allah, you have failed. If you have all the degrees and all the wealth and all the fame and all the skill and all of it, but you left the dunya without Allah, then you've taken nothing. But if you've taken nothing from this world, right? You have people don't look up to you, people don't respect you because you have nothing to possess. You have nothing to your name, no possessions to your name. But you have the love of Allah, then you've taken everything from the world. And this is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in one narration. You can find this in almost every kitab al-riqaq of any hadith collection. That's a jami', that's a comprehensive hadith collection. Most of them will have a chapter called kitab al-riqaq. And the idea of kitab al-riqaq in a hadith collection is to discuss these sort of narrations that encourage a person not to overly attach themselves to worldly possessions. And in those narrations you will find Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam describing the friends of Allah. And in those narrations when the Prophet ﷺ describes the true friends of Allah, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, الَّذِينَ إِذَا غَابُوا لَمْ يُفْتَقَتُوا الَّذِينَ إِذَا غَابُوا لَمْ يُفْتَقَتُوا. That when these people, they are such people that when they are absent from a gathering, no one even notices them. Because these people don't have much to their name. Right? And when they are present, no one even notices them. If they intercede on someone's behalf, their intercession isn't even accepted because socially people don't give that person much weight. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those people have very great respect and honor and they're beloved to Allah. So in summary, when I summarize this narration as I close, I remind myself and everyone sitting here that ultimately we as Muslims must believe. If the non-believer doesn't believe in the akhirah, that's his affair. But as Muslims, we must believe that ultimately we will all be resurrected. Maliki yawmiddin. We must believe in that day of being accountable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every morning when we wake up, every night when we go to sleep, we need to hold ourselves accountable. Did I pray my salah today? Did I pray all of my salah today or not? Did I fulfill my responsibility? Did I spend some time with the Quran today? This is my question. How can a person claim that they are balanced in their approach in the dunya while they spend 8 hours a day at work and 0 minutes every day with the Quran? You're lying to yourself. I don't know what puts you to sleep, and I speak to myself when I say you. I'm not speaking to you. I speak to myself. I'm speaking to myself. I don't know what puts us to sleep at night. What thought? I don't know how we go to sleep thinking that we're doing the right thing. If the entire day has passed by, even the khalas, the people who are connected to the deen aren't touching the Quran anymore. They're listening to nasheeds. You know, nasheeds are great. Poetry is good. And nasheeds are great. But what's more important for you to be listening to poetry or reading the Quran? I mean, there's not even a question. What's more important for you to be listening to some random lecture online, some YouTube Islamic lecture, or spending a few moments, few lahadat with the Quran? Lahadat ma'al Quran. Akid, of course. It's with the Quran. You spend some moments with the Quran. And you listen to the lecture too. It's not a matter of either or. It should be both. It should be and. We do both things. We shouldn't have to choose between good deeds. We do all of them. But you have to create a balance in yourself. If your job is a necessity, and it must be, as it is for me, I'm sure it is for you, then we continue doing it. But at the same time, we have to ask ourselves, what's the purpose of me living? Have I read a biography of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even once in my life yet? It's a question. And if you haven't, that's an imbalance. Something's not right. Have I read the Quran once with its meaning in my life? And I'm 50 years old. Allah's going to say you didn't get a chance to read my Quran once. Like, really? That's it? You got a chance to watch all the Star Wars movies, and then there's a new one coming out, so everyone's doing the dawra again. They're doing the revision all over again. I was with my brother, and he said to me, the new Star Wars is coming out. Sheikh, are you going to go watch it? I said, I haven't watched any of them. I mean, I'm not a TV person. This is not my thing. So I said, most likely, 99%, I won't watch it. He said, well, I'm planning to watch it. I said, well, I hope you enjoy it. He said, the thing is that every time a new one comes, what's the haq? You have to watch all of them again. So I said, how many hours does that take? He says, it can take a long time. It can take a long time. So
Fiction.
Is it?
It is all fiction.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mia bil mia.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is that I read somewhere that the producer of the Star Wars series was inspired to write the series after visiting Gambia. Was it Senegal or Gambia? It was Gambia, right?
That whole region, Gambia and Morocco.
West Africa. Don't say Morocco. This guy's got Moroccan blood. He knows Morocco and everything. Everything Morocco. You know that? It was actually, he was inspired to write this after visiting West Africa. And he was exposed to the Sufi culture there. And he was so inspired by the Sufi culture there, of the relationship between the student and the teacher and the dynamics of that, and this is published, by the way. This is not like, conspiracy. This is published, by the way. He then decided, hey, why are we talking about Star Wars? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to be focused in our lives, and then He give us tawfiq to create that balance. May we not be from people who are so badly in love with the dunya that we have no love for the akhirah. I just want to mention one part of the hadith, because the hadith says, and dislike for death. Dislike for death. And in one narration, one companion actually asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that every one of us dislikes death. And I love it when the companions have those real moments with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, they don't front and they just say, Ya Rasulullah, there's no one sitting here who doesn't dislike death. Like, nobody likes death. It's not like, I'm going to go have ice cream and I'm going to go die. Like, it's not something you look forward to. Just the thought of death terrifies you. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that's not what I mean. What did he say? That's not what I mean. He said what disliking death means is that the one who lives by good deeds in the world, they know that death is not a punishment for them, even though the physical action of dying is very difficult. Tuhfatul mu'min al-maut. For that person, their death is actually a gift. As for the disbeliever, because that person didn't do good deeds, when death comes, not only do they suffer from the physical pain of death, but in their heart they also know they haven't prepared for this moment, so they have a double problem. And that's what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying. حب الدنيا وكراهية الموت أي كراهية لقاء الله. That they actually have a disliking for meeting Allah Azza wa Jalla. الموت جسر يصل الحبيب إلى حبيبه. Because the Arabs, they say that death is it's a bridge. And what happens with this bridge? The lover is connected with his beloved. And that's what death is for the believer. Just this week, one of my very good friends and someone very dear and beloved to me, Sheikh Mufti Ismail from the Austin community, he passed away. Rahimahullah ta'ala. Young man, barely in his 40s, very young. He just went to the doctors for his dialysis appointment. And while he was there, I think his lungs began to fill with blood. There was something that happened. And the doctor described his death as he basically drowned internally. And he left behind 4 daughters. He was the imam in his community, mashallah, one of the most respected, longest standing imams in that Austin community. I don't know, I mean, not to disrespect other imams, but he was there for a very long time, at least 15 years. He was in that community. Austin has one of the biggest universities where Muslims from across the state travel to. And every young Muslim person that I've seen in Texas that has studied at UT Austin they've all told me that this man played a profound role in their life. He preserved the iman of hundreds of students on campus, and he passed away. And when I thought of his death, I thought of shahada. Inshallah, it's shahada for him. I called his father and I spoke to his father over the phone, and I said to him that your son's death is it's difficult for us all. Everyone is in pain at the departure of this young man who passed away, who migrated to this community, who worked really hard. But at the same time, it's an honor for you and your family. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He blesses us all with shahada. This man has a lot to present to Allah on the day of judgment. He has a lot to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khair may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from His friends and sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Any questions?
How do you know that you love? When you feel that kind of fear of death, how do you know it is death or you are feeling the meeting with Allah Azza wa Jalla?
So the question is, how do you know if you fear actual death or you fear meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The way I like to look at this, I think about this too, by the way, the same question. Because I fear death. I'll be honest with you. I mean, anyone that says they don't fear the actual experience of death most likely hasn't seen death. But if you've seen someone passing away and the difficulties that are associated to death, you realize that this is not a walk in the park. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself, regarding the actual physical journey of dying, said, "Ala inna lil mawti sakarat." When he was dying himself, he made dua, Allahumma a'inni ala sakarat al-maut wa ghamarat al-maut. He sallallahu made dua to ask Allah for assistance to overcome this journey of passing away. So the way I like to think about it, at least personally, is that, am I afraid of the actual process of dying, or am I afraid of what happens after death?
Process of dying.
Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Hada huwa al-farq. This is the difference. If a person fears of what happens after death, then at that point they should reevaluate the state of their deeds. But if they fear the actual process of dying, then that's very normal. This is something that we can never. There are some precautions that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has laid out for us, which is a whole different lecture and a whole different topic, a very good one, by the way, or maybe another day, of how to minimize some of that anxiety and fear of death, the actual dying. One thing that I've spoken to many people who I've spoken to who've gone through the experience of dying, not literally died and spoke to me, but thought they were dying, they thought this was the end of their life. One thing they've all told me was that one thing they all said to me that I regretted the most, and this is like a common straight out, and we have physicians here, maybe you guys have experienced this in your fields, but what I've been told multiple times is that one thing I regretted most when I thought I was dying in that moment was the fear of not telling my family of what to do after I died. And this is taught to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That before every Muslim, before you die, what's one responsibility you have? Wasiyah, your will. And your will should be comprehensive. You know, this guy, he said I was going to die, and I forgot to tell my wife what to do with the children in terms of their education over the next 15 years, this grand plan that I had in my mind. I didn't tell her. I had it in my mind. I thought I was going to be there to guide them through it. I forgot to tell my wife what to do about the finances. And that terrified me that my money would be gone and my children would be on the street. So there are, one thing is the fear of the actual dying, right? And the other is what comes after. And the truth of the matter is, for every believer, there's also a fear for what comes after too. Because we're never too sure of our state. You know, inshallah, we've done good deeds, but there are a lot of things that we are all ashamed of. So we make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The believer's state is balanced between fear and hope. بين الخوف والرجاء. الإيمان بين الخوف والرجاء. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the iman is a balance between fear and hope. It's there. You gotta find the right place. Any other questions? Let's go ahead.
The last part of the hadith again, where the Bedouins will compete against each other for building. Was that in a negative connotation, or was it just a sign of their judgment?
The Prophet ﷺ saying in Hadith Jibreel that from the signs of the Day of Judgment is that Bedouins, shepherds who will be hufat, urat, who won't have proper footwear and will be, barely clothed, they will compete with one another in building tall structures. The question is this in a positive connotation or negative? Negative. How do we know that? Because Rasulullah ﷺ disliked tall structures. In Medina Munawwara, there was a companion that added the third story to his home. The Prophet ﷺ disliked that. There was 2 stories was acceptable in Medina Munawwara. Many companions had 2 stories. Even the person who hosted Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam at the Prophet's arrival to Medina Munawwara, Abu Ayyub, and Ansari radiallahu anhu, he had how many stories? 2. Right? As for the third story, that was uncommon. And when the Prophet ﷺ saw someone add that third story, he stopped, he looked at it, and he asked, who is this? And he showed a dislike. He then went to the masjid. That Sahabi came to greet the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ didn't respond to his greeting. And he wasn't sure what happened. He tried again, the Prophet ﷺ didn't respond again. In our community, if the Imam doesn't respond to you, what do? You open up a Facebook page against him. That's what you do. There's no possibility he's doing tarbiyah. Obviously, there's no possibility he loves you and he's trying to teach you a lesson. That's obviously not a possibility, right? Alhamdulillah, Allah gave the Prophet ﷺ good sahaba who are patient and not stubborn morons like we are. When I say moron, I'm pointing at myself, not at any of you. You guys are all awliya of Allah, right? This sahabi, he tried again. Salam again. The Prophet ﷺ didn't respond. By now, what are we doing the second time? What are we doing? We're angry. How dare you? Don't you know I pay your salary, Imam? This is the kind of stuff, right? You know what I mean? He tried again.
Let's change the Imam.
Let's change. That's the third one. Madam. So then finally, he asked the companions, why is the Prophet ﷺ not talking to me? So one of them said, he walked past, he was walking in Medina today, and he saw a home with 3 stories, and someone said it was yours. كَأَنَّهُ كَرِهَهُ. It's as if the Prophet ﷺ didn't like it. You know what he did?
He destroyed that.
There's 2 riwayat. One riwayat is he took the whole house down. One riwayat is what? He just took the whole house down. And he said, how can I live in a home that the Prophet ﷺ scoffed at? And he frowned at. And the second riwayah is that he moved that 3rd floor. Allahu alam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But this is clearly in a negative connotation. Khair, we stop here. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq and Allah azza wa jalla.
One question, can I ask one question?
Fakir Mumikr is the last.
I have heard a lot of these hadiths like this that have this saying, this is a sign of the akhirah.
No.
So what are we supposed to do with it? Because we cannot stop the building being built, because I don't have the money to stop it.
Sure.
So there are a lot of hadiths like this. So parents will teach their kids, treat their kids better than their parents.
Sure.
So what are we supposed to do with these hadiths?
So narration is any narration that tells us something is bad, whether it's a matter of the hereafter or otherwise. Signs of the Day of Judgment. If there is something you can do about it, you do it. Do you understand? If there's something you can't do about it, like Bedouins are going to build tall structures, okay, I can't do anything about that, but there's a lesson in that story, which is that people who have humble beginnings will become very extravagant. That's a lesson. Right? You understand? That's the moral. That's something I can do something with. You know. Now there might be like the Dajjal's going to arrive. What am I going to do about that? You know, how am I going to deal with the Dajjal? I can't deal with him. The hadith says that there will be a prophet of Allah who will come to deal with him. How am I going to deal with him? But there are lessons from the story of the Dajjal that apply to me. It's as if Nabi said, see, the thing is that there is this massive image of the hadith, that the hadith is telling us like the ultimate outcome. But then there are these micro actions along the way that we could take lessons from and that we can learn from. So going back to the story, like I said right now, we just covered this يَتَطَاوَلُونَ فِي الْبُنْيَانِ, the Bedouins will compete in building tall structures. Now you're right, what can I do? But there is a lesson of this that I can implement in my life. Right? And ultimately, even if there's nothing I can do, let's say for example there was something that I can't extract a lesson from. It's just so Ya'juj Ma'juj type. You know, it's just happening and there's nothing else that I can take from it. Like there's nothing I can do about Ya'juj Ma'juj arrival. But then what I can do is that I can see whether that thing is praiseworthy or not and how I can save myself from that scenario. And ultimately, all in all, if there's no lesson I can take at all, I can just tell my children and tell my family that we are closer to the Day of Judgment. Let's spend our time, the valuable time that we have left in this dunya, doing good deeds. You know, it's a trigger. It's to remind you that you're coming closer. What can we do about the splitting of the moon? There's nothing we can do. But the first part is something we can do. And what is that? Take a lesson from the fact that we get closer to our death. And that's the qiyamah for every person. But ultimately, the Day of Judgment itself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. Wa sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam. Muhammad subhanahu wa ta'ala wa bihamdihi subhanakallah wa bihamdihi. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك